So, I really haven't made an MMA video in a little bit here. But, we have a lot of stories that I've been contemplating making videos on. But I'm not sure how they will do on their own. So, I kind of compiled a couple of stories here. Some I did shorts on. Um, but yeah, the before we get into this, we got news about Shane Carwin, former heavyweight champion. We got Dominic Cruz on who he wants to fight, and we have Umar Merab being booked against Song Yadong instead of Merab. So I guess we're gonna get Sean versus Merab too. Yeah, right before we get on into all of that, if you like the video, subscribe. I I I don't really know what I call my channel. I kind of just do videos on what I find interesting. Um, we did a video about Bill Gates controlling the weather. That was fun. Uh, we also did. Fuck, I just did. Trust me, I know what videos I do. We have, oh yeah, the Department of Defense legalizing lethal force on Americans. Yeah, so if any of that interests you, go check that out. But yeah, let's get into these stories. Brendan Schaub recently came out talking about Shane Carwin's health is in a rough shape. Uh, Brendan Schaub being a training partner of Shane Carwin. Um, so the article is Brendan Schaub woman struggles ex-UFC champ Carwin faces now. He can barely tie his effing shoes. I'm not sure when I'm allowed to swear on YouTube. Like there's that stupid rule where it's like the first 30 seconds or first minute, whatever. Over 100 fighters have written letters of support for the settlement agreement in one of the UFC's antitrust lawsuits in hopes that financial relief could come sooner rather than later. TKO Holdings, the parent company of the UFC, agreed to pay out $375 million to end litigation. I did a video on that a few weeks ago. With the fighters now waiting to find out if Judge Richard Boulware will approve the deal, among the fighters who penned letters of support for the settlement agreement was former UFC interim heavyweight champion Shane Carwin, who detailed his struggles he faced. Which, before I get into all this, I want to give anybody who doesn't know who Shane Carwin is, I want to give you a little bit of context. Shane Carwin was a heavyweight around the time when Brock Lesnar came in. Uh, he ended up fighting Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. Frank Mir beat Lesnar. Lesnar beat me in the rematch. You know that. But when you look at his record here, you see first round TKO, submission due to punches, a first round guillotine, another first round rear naked choke, first round TKO, first round rear naked choke, first round knockout, first round submission, first round TKO, first round knockout, first round TKO against Neil Wayne. Like, granted, these heavyweights aren't like the athletic. Can't lie, that's too far. They're not like your Cyril Gons or your Tom Aspinalls. These are like your big brawlers. But yeah, Shane Carwin was no joke. He beat Gabriel Gonzaga, who was an absolute menace. Gabriel Gonzaga, I'm pretty sure he's the one that Crow Cop with that massive head kick. And then he knocked out Frank Mir to become the interim champion. And then in this Brock Lesnar fight, I remember this as a kid and I recently watched this fight. Shane Carwin was beating the shit out of Brock Lesnar. Um, and Brock Lesnar was able to get an arm triangle in the second. But like the first round in this fight was one of the most brutal first rounds I've ever seen, and it was against Brock Lesnar, freak among nature. And then he lost to JDS, and that was his last fight. But yeah, 12-2, 8 knockouts, 4 subs. Shane Carwin is a legend. Interim champ, nearly champ. Fuck, that really was a good fight. When we get back to this here, despite having a degree in engineering from Colorado School of Mines, I have been unable to maintain adequate focus to hold down an engineering job, Carwin wrote. I face serious challenges in meeting basic everyday expenses for food, shelter, and transportation, and a basic life skills necessary to function. See, this is the thing, right? Like, this is like why fighter pay is a big deal, obviously, is that you have a lot of these guys who are in the fight game early when, you weren't even guaranteed your purse. We can talk about what happened in Pride. We can talk about the early days of the UFC, even though the UFC did bankrupt itself by paying the fighters. They weren't getting paid for how much damage they got, and as I read into Shane Carwin more, you'll see that. These funds would also allow me to obtain the health care I need and keep a roof over my head and food on my table. The sad reality is that funds years from now may be of no use to me. I desperately need these funds now. Retired UFC heavyweight Brandon Schaub, and I know everybody has an opinion on Schaub, including me, who counts Carwin as a friend after training together for several years, addressed this issue that the 6'10 UFC veteran faces now that his fighting career is over. Shane is smart amongst smart people, Schaub said on his podcast. Shane got a degree from the School of Mines. That's the Harvard of the fucking Midwest. School of Mines is so hard to get into, and he dominated that shit. Dominated. One of the smartest people you will ever meet, Shane Carwin. He can barely tie his fucking shoes. He's not doing great. Many of the fighters who submitted letters of support for the settlement relayed struggles with possible traumatic brain injury and reporting symptoms of CTE, a neurodegenerative disease. Okay, we know what CTE is. While Carwin fought for just under 6 years, he was also a football player and wrestler, which Schaub acknowledged also undoubtedly played a part in the damage done. Schaub revealed that while the antitrust lawsuit continues to play out in the courts, the UFC did reach out to Carwin and attempt to get him some help for the health struggles he faced as soon as Dana heard that Shane was having some issues. They flew Shane down there and tried to help him. Schaub said, I don't know enough about it. I don't know if anyone does, but he's the worst of the worst right now. I'm not hating on the UFC, Schaub says. I'm not hating on Dana. This would have happened if Shane fought in Pride, if he fought in PFL, He fought and won championship. Sadly, Carwin's issues aren't unique, at least based on many of letters written in support of the UFC antitrust lawsuit settlement. With this particular situation, it's close to Schaub. It's Shane Carwin who paid for my training when I couldn't afford it, Schaub said. It's Shane Carwin who had one fight when I met him. I had none, and he signed me up without me knowing into Golden Gloves because he knew I'd win, and he cornered me. I cornered him in his second fight ever in Mississippi. We had nothing, just me and him. All we had was me and him. And like, okay, for Schaub, obviously, like in any kind of sport, right? Whether it's high school football, whether it's jiu-jitsu, MMA, football, whatever, you gain a form of camaraderie there that like you won't gain anywhere else. Like sure, you're gonna have your team at work. You're gonna have your family work as a team. But like when it comes to training for competitions, like fighters do, where like this is year round, they have somebody in camp for a fight, and they spend hours, multiple training sessions a day with these fighters. And obviously, from what Brendan Schaub was saying, like he genuinely cares about Shane Carwin, and Shane Carwin being the one that helped uh, Schaub get into the UFC and start his career. He's obviously gonna be emotional about this, like anyone. But okay, I let's get to the article and then I'll share my other thoughts. Schaub can't say for certain where Carwin falls in this list, but he knows. Oh, what the hell? He knows the former UFC champion needs that help now, not later. That's why he wishes the UFC would reach out to Carwin personally and float him some much needed money to help support him as he's struggling to live or to survive. How do you not just go, I get it, boom, 10 or 15 million for your troubles, Schaub said. Can we be human for a fucking second? Could you just be a fucking human being for a second? And go here, man. We know you don't have to do it publicly. Just fucking human to human. This guy put his life on the line. I've seen it. I was with him every step of the way from day fucking one. He's such a good person. He can, how can you not just go, yeah man, that's terrible. You can't even afford housing and food. You lost your wife, which this is something I didn't know. His wife died. The kids are doing great. Here you go, don't worry about it. That's pennies to these guys. Which is true. Like, you look at how much we're paying for pay-per-views up here in Canada, right? That's $80 a pay-per-view. Two pay-per-views a year. You're making like 160, over 160 bucks a fan. And like, it took, again, I'm one of the biggest UFC fans. Like, I look at the UFC not only as a fan of the sport, but like as a business. Like what the UFC has been able to put together, I truly admire. But like things like these, man, like Brendan Schaub, I totally agree with. Especially when it's one of the guys that built the sport. Like Shane Carwin coming in was huge for Brock Lesnar, who at the time was the biggest draw the UFC has ever had. But yeah, that's uh, that's pretty much um which what that story is about. I really hope Shane Carwin gets some kind of settlement or something. Like even like Schaub said, the UFC should do something. And let's go back to here. He had nothing but incredible performance. You know, and it was the top guys at the time at heavyweight. Frank Mir, Gabriel Gonzaga, losing like I said, nearly beat Brock Lesnar, lost to JDS. Yeah, this guy, I don't know. UFC somebody, give him some money. He deserves it. I I really hope the best for him. I remember watching the Brock Lesnar fight live. That was an unbelievable fight. But moving on to more current fighters and current news topics. Umar Nurmagomedov is fighting Song Yadong in December, which I'm not signing in with you. This is weird because I really thought that even though it's not that compelling of a fight, holy hell. Uh, Umar was next for Merab, which apparently is not the case. Uh, it's a good fight though. So Umar versus Song Yadong. I I I favor Umar in this matchup, but it's people are kind of comparing it to uh, Pereira, right? And the fact that Uncle Ivan got booked with Rakic in the upcoming card instead of getting the title shot that Roundtree got. Which, looking back, I'm so happy we got Cole Roundtree versus Pereira. Um, I think it was definitely going to be much more entertaining than an Uncle Ivan fight will be. Well, most likely will be. That being said, Uncle Ive, he's not like a dominant wrestler. He can wrestle, but he is a striker. Anyways, we'll get more into that one as gets announced. But yeah, this makes no sense to me. Uh, he got that win over Corey Sandhagen, who I truly believe Corey Sandhagen is the barrier of entry into the top five. Like, you look at the fights he's been in. Piotr Jan versus Sandhagen is one of the best bantamweight fights of all time. Obviously fought against Umar. He beat Cheeto in that fight where that one judge gave Cheeto the win by an alternate reality, in which he was doing the fight. But yeah, I actually watched a video on like the most absurd judging scorecards the other day. There are so many old ones I forgot. Like I looked back to GSP Johnny Hendricks was like one of the bad ones. Dear God, Pride, dude, holy shit. But anyways, yeah. That's so Umar versus Song Yadong. Good fight. I figured him well, like I said. I don't get. I guess the UFC is gonna do a Sean O'Malley rematch then. But yeah. That's all I got for that topic. And then we get to this one I found really interesting. Dominic Cruz, right? uh, one of my favorite fighters. I remember watching him growing up was insane. Like when he was champion before he had the injury problems, Dominic Cruz is is one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. Like his foot movement, and just the way he strikes, it's just oh man, in his prime he was so good. Like those fights with Faber, dude. Uh, Former bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz has his eyes on unfinished business to conclude his career in the octagon. Cruz, who also held WEC gold prior to his UFC reigns, hasn't competed since being knocked out by a brutal head kick against Sam Marlon Vera, funny enough, back in August 2022. That result was headlined a UFC fight night in his home city of San Diego, snapped Cruz's two-fight winning streak, uh, and stalled his plan for a late career rise back up to the ladder at 135. Since the Dominator has remained a prominent fixture on UFC broadcasts through his work as a color commentator and desk analyst for ESPN, but although that has left some suggesting his time as an active fighter could be up, the 39-year-old has confirmed that he he has more. I don't know why it says has more in the tank. Uh, so I guess yeah, it was announced on that podcast. So like to go through the fights that he wants. He wants Aldo. That I like. That's I feel like that's one of the biggest fights fans want. We like that's probably my biggest fight that I want booked right now is Aldo Cruz. I just the fact that that's reality, and like I said in my Aldo versus Batista video and my review of 307, man, Aldo at bantamweight is he looks so good. I like I kind of figured it'd be a TJ Dillashaw thing without the EPO. But like, man, he looks so big. He's fast. He's powerful. He can take big shots. Like I really like Jose Aldo at bantamweight, and I really like I made a short about this fight months ago. I really want this fight. Um, we get into what he said. I've heard Henry say that he would be willing to fight me if UFC, if Hunter would allow it to happen. Cruz stated, I would rematch Henry. I would love that. I'm not saying he didn't beat me, but I'm saying that on a full camp, we can give an entertaining fight. He beat me in the last fight. Okay, great. I think with me having a full camp, me not straight off surgery, me doing the training I've been doing, me feeling the way I feel right now, we'll put on a really good fun show. Cruz continued. So Aldo, Henry, Cody Garbrandt, getting ready to fight. So he's got a fight coming up. But yeah, rematches for me make sense. My shoulders had multiple surgeries. It's not rocket science. I don't have tons of fights left. I'm towards the last chunk of my fights, and I want to put on a good show. So I'm looking for a fight that makes sense. Him versus Aldo makes so much sense. Especially because of Aldo coming off of that win against Mario Batista. Like, it would really help Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo reach that title shot. And the thing, like, here's the thing, I'm going to talk about Aldo. Like, I love Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo before I say this. Jose Aldo did really good against Merab, and that is a really interesting matchup. I would love to see Jose. I would love to see Jose and Dominic get one last shot at the title. But yeah, him versus Cejudo is a great fight. Him versus Cody, especially because of the fact that Garbrandt, he's showing those little signs. Uh, what was his last fight? Hold up, I'm completely blanking. Because we know that TJ Dillashaw kind of ruined him. Oh yeah, he's coming off of that loss to Figueiredo. Still looked good in that fight. He knocked out Brian Kelleher. He beat Trevin Jones. And, you know, ever since his comeback from the Kai Kara France fight, he's looked really good. I would love to see that rematch, but, yeah. What are we looking at for time, by the way? 26th. Yeah. So as far as Cruz, I want the Aldo fight over any other fight. I favor Aldo in that fight, but I mean, the reason I like that fight is because Aldo's striking versus Dominic Cruz's defense is something I've wanted to see for a while. But yeah, that's that. Now, I just want to go through some of the fights. I will be doing my predictions maybe tomorrow, or yeah, yeah, I might do predictions. We'll see. But we got 308 coming up. We all know, this card is stacked. Topuria Holloway. I'm favoring Holloway. Uh, I'll get to my full predictions in the next week or so. Whitaker Shemaev, really good fight. I'm favoring Whitaker. Lerone Murphy versus Danny Gay. Lerone Murphy coming off of that amazing win against Edson Barboza, and Danny Gay being a true warrior against it was Diego Lopez, right? I want to make sure. Yeah, it was that fight with Diego Lopez, and he looked fucking unreal in that fight. Magomed Ankalaev versus Rakic, obvious number one contender fight. Number one contender title for the title. God, I don't know how to speak English. Yeah, I'm really interested in this fight. Rakic looked really good against Yuri. What I'm interested to see, I think Magomed Ankalaev is his favorite, considering everybody's picking him to beat Pereira, which, I mean, I think he's best well-rounded, but biggest threat, I kind of doubt that. We'll see if we see that fight. And then we got Sharputin Magomedov versus Armin Petrosk. This dude with the one eye. Oh no, Gone versus Volkov got cancelled? I didn't know about that. And then on the preliminary card too, we got a lot of good ones. Jeff Neal versus RDA. Rebecca versus Orabe. Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Santos. Abusa Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. Fareed Barashot versus Victor Hugo. Yeah, as far as 308, I've been really excited. Obviously, mainly for the co-main and main. Lerone Murphy versus Danny Gay. I cannot wait for that fight. It pained me that Barboza lost that fight. But that was unreal. And then we got, Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. this is another phenomenal fight. I don't know who I want to pick in that. Aaron Blanchford versus Rose Namajunas. I don't know. I haven't watched enough tape on those to make a prediction yet. Derek Lewis versus Deniz. Like, oh, we got a lot of good fights coming up. But, yeah. I don't know. I wanted to try something different instead of making one video or multiple videos on these topics. I didn't know how well Shane Carwin would do, or these smaller news stories. Like I do my shorts and that. I don't know, but yeah, that's a couple stories I found. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the situation with Carwin. What do you think about Dominic Cruz coming back and Umar not getting the title shot? That's that one I'm really shocked by. Even though I really don't want to see that fight, I am really shocked they are not giving it to Umar. But yeah.